P flag is down 1 minute before the start of race 1 on this Saturday, February 23. We have 14 boats in the vicinity of the starting line and 1 boat that will be late, as we're now within 1 minute of the start. This boat's way up there, kind of high. That's Jim Pettipaw, and he may have a hard time finding a place to drop in to the start. Although there's very few boats at the other end of the line. 22 is heading that way, racing class with Brad. And Jim Davidian is next. There's Pettipaw trying to drop in. Looks like he may have a little slot. It was below the line, and boat 17 went so far below, no threat to Jim to push him up and over. The only boat that's in danger of going over right now is 22. That's a race class boat. There's the gun, and I think they make it back in there. All right, let's move forward. So from committee boat here, we've got Fred Baker on warp drive, just tacking. Ika is John Dexter. He's able to go straight with good speed. Also in the front row, 21 has dropped out of the front row a little bit, Jim O'Leary, but 20 is doing well, Matt Flynn, and 24, Jim Pettipaw, who did the dip stars. And that worked for them, mostly because 17, that Sal Rosen dropped way down too low and could have been a real threat to Pettipaw. Meanwhile, Davidian does take the pin, leaving the race class with a good start, but not quite at the pin. Boats that have tacked out include Warp Drive, who started the boat and tacked immediately. Also, Deke with Frank McNamara had to tack out, as did 11, Jonathan Austin, who had that great week last week with 3 bullets. And then we have, looks like Wasabi with Lars Carlson is also tacked out. Now there's more boats tacking out. Only the front row of 4 remains, and now even they're all tacking, except for Ika. She's still on starboard and could be a menace. In fact, a big dip by Stiletto. Pettipaw has to bear way off to get below Ika. The other boats might cross, so that's going to cost Pettipaw his front row status. Yeah, the remaining boats, racing class and Jim, make it across. Be interesting how Fred comes out of it, having started right and banging right immediately, relative to Davidian, who's leading from the pin. The line was pretty square, so it could come down to boat speed and slight fluctuations in what is a really steady wind compared to any sort of westerly. All right, here comes Fred Baker out of the right corner, and Jim out of the left corner. Jim's only had to make 1 tack so far, but now he's making the big bear off. He can't leave bow and make the mark. He can't quite cross and be certain he's going to make it. So interesting. And then Fred does somewhat of a slam dunk, but Frank McNamara and Deke is now a problem certainly for Jim. Makes the big bear off to go below him, dropping Jim to a distant third. I wonder if Frank is going to make this mark and have the lead. They seem confident. They're putting the pole up. Mark's right here. And Fred tacks well to windward, hurting the 3rd place boat. But Frank comes from 3rd place to round 1st, just the way the tacks worked out here at the weather mark. Fred is 2nd. Jim's going to be 3rd, but just barely. Those 2 massive dips drop them all the way back. It's Matt Flynn in the high lane. They may be rolling Blue Jay. With Phoebe next, Keith Fox in 5th. And tacking in at the mark is 11, Jonathan Austin. But Ika is slightly overstood, so Jonathan fully gets away with that. No foul. Dexter next on Ika, and then 27 is Wasabi with Lars Carlson. Bob Perry's behind them, along with the Pettipaws on Stiletto. Remember, Pettipaw had a front row start, but a massive dip not only dropped them back 2 lengths, but it cut into their speed. So by the time they recovered, they had lost some 3 or 4 boat lengths to the leaders. All right, 17 and Sol is rounding, and they had a bad start. And 22, the racing class, just getting around now. Thought they were doing better than that. And then finally, 21, Jim O'Leary rounds, and one boat has just started the race. I believe that's Adrian and or Kevin on that boat. This is Bob Perry's team. They jogged away into absolutely clean wind and clean lane. That should be good for gaining on anybody who's momentarily or blanketed for longer. But kind of a high reaching angle for Jonathan Austin. Surprised they're going that high. They're moving well, but they seem to be higher than they need to be for this wind velocity. I could be wrong. They're sailing the boats well. And look how high, looks like, is that warp drive? But now Jonathan seems to be squared away pretty low. The crew, and the spinner isn't quite to the fourth stage, but it's getting there. And we're down to, I think, fifth after row 1.5 at the start, but let's play up on the line. This is Fred on warp drive. They are in second. Frank is still leading at 14. You can make out Frank wait a little bit. Okay, jib up on Fred's boat. Frank's gotten further ahead. All right. Frank's team is around the leeward mark. Fred will be next, and then Jim at the far gate mark, almost approximately tied. Fred's a half length ahead. Might have to back up a little bit so you don't hit him. A little traffic at the other mark. Keith's in there. I wonder if 20 will come to this mark. No, they're going to try to cut in there. They may even gain a boat on it. Number 11, Jonathan Austin's forced way wide. Still in fifth, but in bad air and dropping. Lars Carlson getting around, followed by Bob Perry at this mark. The other mark, Stiletto just rounded. That's Pettipaw. He's caught a boat or two. Followed by Santuza. Racing class. And 17 is forced wide here. That's Sal. Forced wide by the inside boat, Jim O'Leary. And Ika, John Dexter, is rounding last, but they're pretty good, and they make a nice exit lane, so they may not stay last. They may be gaining boats. They're certainly not going to get the leader, but they may get one or two. There's the first finish. Numbers change in order. Frank wins the race. And it's Fred Baker second, Jim Davidian third, and fourth's going to be pretty close. Boat 11 was down to 6th at one point. I think they may still be in 6th. Because Keith got momentary lefty coming out of his left corner. So I think he's got Jonathan. Now Keith's got to be thinking about the other boat might do well to start shooting, and they do. And it's going to be close, but I think Keith has got fourth with Matt Flynn fifth, Jonathan Austin sixth. So no position changing really on this last leg with a steady wind. Bob Perry is next. Did pretty well downwind. Caught up a little bit. 24 is after that. Pettipaw, they also caught up a little bit. And we still have 3 boats over here, 3 boats over there, and 1 boat that never started. All right, that's a wrap for race 1, which we got in before the salt carriers coming in around 2 o'clock.